This event gave Democrats a big opportunity to lay out their plans for a green future, although some of them are trying to win an Oscar or something. Andrew Yang wasted no time with vapid stories, trite answers, or trashing Trump. Instead, he did the unthinkable. He answered questions, offering real innovative solutions. Hell, even Joe Biden is trying to copy him now. Stealing the Asian kid's homework might have helped you in high school, Joe, but that ain't gonna cut it now, bucko. Now, one of Andrew Yang's key points is that we aim at what we measure. Rather than solely measuring GDP and following the almighty dollar, he urges that we need to add to the annual American scorecard, include national measures of mental health, clean air, clean water, infrastructure quality, affordability of energy costs, and more. Tax credits could be awarded to corporations who can demonstrate annual improvements in these areas. He'd also pass climate risk disclosure bills. These would steer investments away from fossil fuel companies. Yang would also update or create a green export-import bank, which would provide loans to other countries trying to purchase green technology from the US with lower interest rates to encourage transactions. He's in favor of a carbon fee, a carbon border adjustment, which will tax goods imported from countries who do not enforce a similar tax. He would eliminate subsidies to the fossil fuel companies, which is over $600 billion a year. He'd ban offshore drilling and knock in the way of fossil fuel exports. The carbon fee, along with his VAT, value added tax, would be used to fund the freedom dividend, which would allow many more Americans to focus on climate change. Yang loves the vision projected by the Green New Deal, but thinks the timeline is too short as it could do away with commercial air travel, not to be mistaken with him endorsing this. His plan proposes $5 trillion over a 2-decade period for the environment. He's done the math and broke down the spending on his website. Projects include forest fire prevention, modernizing farming and agriculture like vertical farming and research into drought-resistant crops, forgiving rural community debt so they can update utilities, carbon-free air travel, national labs to pool various organizations together and fund their initiatives reducing bureaucracy hassles, and vocational apprenticeship programs for installing and repairing solar panels, heat pumps, and more. And rather than coming out of high school knowing the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, President Yang would add life skills to the curriculum. These would include training for the green vocational programs, financial literacy, and healthy meal prep. He'd also invest in thorium-based salt reactors and nuclear fusion reactors. Try to picture Joe Biden saying that. Nuclear power's come a long way. Thorium is way more efficient and safer. This would act as a backup plan for any shortfalls that may arise in the expansion of renewable energy. One especially new clever solution is giving 100 democracy dollars to every American. This would leverage the people's power against corporations and, as Andrew Yang says, wash out lobbyist cash. This would be $20 billion a year and would solely be used to fund campaigns of people's choosing. Also, slightly related, Yang would award every citizen $100 a year, and this money would be used to donate to nonprofits of their choosing. This would be funded by reducing existing tax credits on donations. And the penny would finally be scrapped. It makes no sense. It costs more to make it than it's actually worth. So this would save a lot of money and reduce zinc mining. President Yang would also assemble a global geoengineering summit. This would be super helpful to consolidate research in this area and set limits as what countries can and can't do so no one oversteps and sprays tons of sulfur dioxide in the air affecting another country's climate. To clarify a misrepresentation of his commitment to geoengineering, he vouches to invest $800 million into research over a 20-year period. This makes up about 0.02% of the total pool for climate change he's proposing. You need to be prepared for the worst, and these are emergency options, which I personally think will be needed. There's a feedback loop with the sun and glaciers. So as temperatures get warmer, more ice melts, meaning less sunlight is reflected back to space by the ice. So more sunlight is absorbed by the oceans, which further warms temperatures. So it's one thing to slow down the rate of climate change by pumping less carbon in the air, but it'd be something else entirely to reverse climate change and cool the planet. Not all of these geoengineering techniques are noxious, like spraying salt water into the air to expand clouds so that they reflect more sunlight, or ocean seeding or planting trees. And yes, space mirrors and aerosols like sulfur dioxide to reflect sunlight could be risky and expensive, but taking these emergency options completely off the table could be even riskier. Most of this money, 3 trillion or roughly 150 billion per year, are loans to homeowners to upgrade to renewable energy. This would include electric cars, heat pumps, and solar panels. By creating the Renewable Energy Building Association to administer these loans and ensuring low interest rates, Americans can invest in upgrading their homes and vehicles to save money to pay back the loan while feeling part of the climate change solution. Since 4-year election terms make it pretty difficult to execute long-term plans, President Yang would call for a constitutional amendment for the government to protect, preserve, and improve the environment. If you haven't already, Google Andrew Yang. He is a beacon of hope and ingenuity and an incredible step above the rest. He's greatly galvanized me, and I'm just a Canadian. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around to the end. If you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments. Spread the word. Yang Gang 2020, baby.